Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Last time around we had Awaken, which was not the long-awaited return of cars from outer space and the return of the Pillar Man theme. Instead, a baby was born. A baby plant creature thing with a Joestar birthmark. It's a weird thing. I don't know. That's not specific enough on this show, but that's okay. Anyway, so yeah, it did that. It has a stand, it shrinks things, and then it saw Jolene's Joestar birthmark and then liked her, and then also FF might be dead. Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty much that. So like always, the reaction is down in the description and in the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure, so why don't we go ahead and jump right into this episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Here we go. I'm sad. Again. I was already sad about FF. I was already sad about FF, and now I'm sadder. I mean, there's all this... Excuse me. There's all this emotional scenes and daring, crazy scenes. But my biggest takeaway from this episode... Stone Ocean can make objects out of her thread? Damn, we'll just add another reason to why I love Stone Ocean as a stand, you know? You just... can't deal with this, man. I can't deal with this. I also can't deal with how freaking garbagey Pale Snake is as a stand. Like, it's got a little too much. It's strong and has a range of 20 meters and can take the soul and memories of a person and can give discs with orders and can create illusions. That's just a separate thing it just happens to have on top of all of that. But FF. No, FF. I didn't get to say goodbye to Hermes. I mean, that's the thing. We almost had the full crew in this episode, you know? All we're missing is Hermes, and I guess Emporio too, but we almost had the full crew in this episode. But now FF is gone. Now! No, FF. Sad. Sad now. I mean, it's exactly what I said last episode, though, is that there's always someone in every JoJo part. It's either Baron Zeppeli, Caesar Zeppeli, Avdol, Kakyoin, Iggy, Shigechi, but who cares? Abakio, Narancia, Bucciarati, twice technically. Technically in part 3 there was also Joseph for 5 seconds, you know? Because we did get a big scene where, you know, Joseph's soul left his body, but I guess... But, you know, Jotaro was able to get to his body fast enough somehow. I don't know how they brought Joseph back, but that doesn't matter. You know, there was a part of me that thought Anastasia would get up as Jotaro and then just beating the shit out of Poochie, you know? I don't know, I guess that'd be weird. And it wouldn't make sense. Like I guess that doesn't make sense, but that'd have been funny. It'd be funny to hear Matt Mercer's voice coming out of Anastasia and him using Diver Drive. I don't know. Man, and I guess we weren't even close to having the full crew, because that wasn't even weather forecast. Even still, it was kind of nice to see him again, you know? And I like the idea that weather forecast did, help. If I could finish this sentence. He did help because he got the rain to FF. Now, how that works, I have no idea, because I thought that was a whole thing of FF, any water FF touches would boil, but I don't know. Maybe FF disintegrated enough to lose the boiling stand. I guess that was just on a piece of FF that was left behind. So once that evaporated, it was no longer part of it. But the remaining plankton that were there were given enough water, grabbed FF's disc, and ran, you know? I don't know. I just said a bunch of nonsense, so... I just said a bunch of nonsense, but I guess that's JoJo for you. FF was a real person. It's interesting that is, one of the low-key things in Part 6 is, this brand new creature and, the definition of life and stuff like that, you know? It's just such an interesting thing. I don't want to say, it's a throwaway thing, but it's just, it's not a major thing in Part 6, but here we are. We just had this whole emotional thing. FF was a real person. So we said before that Dio was banging women with Jonathan's body, particularly Jonathan's dick. I mean, I feel like it's safe to assume he was banging men too, you know? Specifically Poochie. So, I mean, they're hanging out on a bed looking at nude sculptures and he's shirtless. Not even just shirtless, his pants are barely being held up, you know? He's so handsome, you know? He's handsome, he's jacked, he's got Jonathan's body. So I guess if the bone was from his head, then it is, I guess, his bone specifically, and not Jonathan's. I don't know, I still would have loved if this friggin' creature just became Jonathan Joestar, you know? I will always hold out hope, but that's because I like Jonathan, you know? Unlike some people in the JoJo fandom, I like Jonathan Joestar. I thought he was a great character, you know? I also like Part 1, you know? I know in the reactions it was kind of crazy, but over time I've really come to love Part 1, you know? So, okay, but here's one thing again with this episode. The fact because it's not just that Stone Ocean, weaved into the shape of handcuffs, but it was still, you know, the blue string that Stone Ocean is. Stone Ocean did completely just turn into handcuffs. So I have many questions, you know, because we have that whole thing where FFF, you know, Foo Fighters, and then an F to pay respects, basically. We had that whole thing where FF could basically make a gun out of their own plankton, and that was kind of interesting. But now it leads me to the question, can Stone Ocean do that? I don't know. Could Stone Ocean create a sword, and, you know, she, uses it, and is, really cool? How much can Stone Ocean make with her thread, you know? I just... Now that that's been introduced, this is, skyrocketing up. This is probably, my number 2 stand after Shining Diamond, you know? Stone Ocean is just so cool. And again, it's it feels like, okay, let's go back to the idea of Hermit Purple, but let's go crazy, you know? I love it, but still... technically not as powerful as the last 2 main stands we've had, you know? Because restoration and life creation with Shining Diamond and Golden Wind, those were such ridiculously powerful stands that it's like, I love the smaller scale of Stone Ocean, you know? It's just so nice. I mean, it really is to the point where it's like, okay, you know, what if young Joseph had Hermit Purple? That's what Stone Ocean feels like, you know? Just with every string thing that Joseph ever came up with, add that into a stand and a fully capable actual main character, because that's the other thing, is Jolene is actually the main character of part 6, you know? So, it's great. It's great. I'm not going to get over how amazing that is. And I know that's not the main point of this episode. The main point of this episode is Poochie got the baby. Something happened there. I don't know what the hell happened there. Poochie got the baby, and FF died. But FF was intelligence. She was life, you know? She had intelligence. She had a soul. They could make another, but it's not going to be the same. It's not the same FF. Probably the good news is FF doesn't have to deal with Anastasia anymore, so there's that. Sad. Sad now. I guess that's basically it. I feel like there was something else, but I can't think of it. I don't know. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Great episode. I'm curious to see where we are going next time. But that is basically it. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist with all of my JoJo's Bizarre Adventure reactions, as well as another video you can go click on if you want. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.